అని ఆలోచించే ఎందరో.
నమస్కారం. ఈరోజు నాట్స్ కార్యక్రమానికి వీక్షిస్తున్న ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా ఉన్న తెలుగు ప్రజలందరికీ శుభాభినందనలు. నా పేరు శ్రీధరప్సాని, నేను నాట్స్ చైర్మన్. భానుప్రకాష్ గారికి కార్యక్రమానికి స్వాగతం. నాట్స్ భాష్యరమ్యం సేవే గమ్యం అనే నినాదంతో ప్రారంభమై గత 12 సంవత్సరాలుగా సేవ ద్వారా ఎన్నో కుటుంబాలకి 188 నంబర్ 4 తెలుగు అనే హెల్ప్ లైన్ స్థాపించి ఎన్నో కుటుంబాలను కష్ట సమయంలో ఆదుకుంటూ ఎన్నో సేవా కార్యక్రమాలను చేస్తూ వస్తుంది. ఈ సేవా కార్యక్రమాలతోనే నాట్స్ భాషా రంగానికి కూడా ఎన్నో కార్యక్రమాల ద్వారా భాషకు కూడా సేవ చేస్తూ వస్తుంది. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ 2020 సంవత్సరంలో కోవిడ్ మహమ్మారి బారిన పడి ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా ఎంతో మంది ఇబ్బందులు పడుతున్న సమయంలో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో కానీ, తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రంలో కానీ, అమెరికాలో కానీ ఇప్పటి వరకు కనీసం ఒక 60 చోట్ల నిత్యావసర సరుకులు అందించడం కానీ, రకరకాల సేవా కార్యక్రమాలు చేయడంతో పాటు ఈ కోవిడ్ మహమ్మారిని ఎదుర్కోవటానికి, దాని వ్యాప్తి చెందకుండా అరికట్టడానికి ఎన్నో నాలెడ్జ్, ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అండ్ అవేర్నెస్ సెషన్స్ ద్వారా ఇదే సర్వీస్ యాక్టివిటీస్ నాట్స్ కొనసాగించడం జరుగుతుంది. ఈరోజు భానుప్రకాష్ గురించి మురళీచల్ల గారు చెప్తారు. ఇలాంటి మేధో సంపత్తి కలిగిన ఒక తెలుగు విద్యార్థిని ప్రపంచానికి పరిచయం చేయడంలో పరిచయం అక్కర్లేదు, కానీ మా వంతు పాత్ర మేము చేయాలి అని నాట్స్ అనేది ఎప్పుడూ చేసేది ఇదే. నాట్స్ అనేది ఒక ప్లాట్ఫామ్, ఒక అఖండ మేధో సంపత్తి కలిగిన ఒక తెలుగు వ్యక్తిని మిగిలిన భావితరాలకు చెందిన తెలుగు విద్యార్థులకు పరిచయం చేస్తూ తద్వారా నాట్స్ ఈ అనుసంధానం చేయటం అనేది నాట్స్ చేసే సేవా కార్యక్రమాల్లో ఒకటి. మీరందరూ కూడా వీక్షిస్తున్న అందరూ, ముఖ్యంగా యువకులు, విద్యార్థులు, కాలేజీ స్టూడెంట్స్ కానీ, స్కూల్ స్టూడెంట్స్ కానీ, వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా భానుప్రకాష్ దగ్గర నుంచి మీరు నేర్చుకోవాల్సినవి చాలా ఉంటాయి. అవన్నీ నేర్చుకుంటారని మేము చేపట్టిన ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి దీని ద్వారా మా ఆశయం తీరుతుందని నేను విశ్వసిస్తున్నాను. మురళీచల్ల గారు, నౌ మైక్ యు.
Gangadhar, you can talk. Gangadhar will introduce everyone, the guest first, right?
Okay.
నమస్కారం అండి. ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా చూస్తున్నటువంటి తెలుగు ప్రజలందరికీ ప్లస్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ది స్టూడెంట్స్, వెల్కమ్. Actually, I would like to introduce you the 4 moderators, students who are conducting this program. First one is Siddhartha Jayanti. If anybody could do the focus on Siddhartha Jayanti, that would appreciate it. Siddhartha Jayanti is a PhD student in computer science at MIT, where his research has focused on distributed computing, cryptography, game theory, and machine learning. Siddhartha Jayanti got his bachelor's of engineering with a minor in mathematics from reads and writes French and Sanskritam. Siddhartha enjoys studying ancient Sanskritam texts and mathematics and poetry, a discipline he was introduced by poetry in Telugu and Sanskritam. Next moderator is Sucharitra Jayanti, is a master's student in computer science at Dartmouth College. She got her bachelor's degree from Dartmouth in computer science and mathematics, and then went on to work at Amazon for a few years before returning to graduate school. Sucharita is fluent in English and Telugu and has had a lot of some training in Sanskritam from the Samskrita Bharati USC. She serves on the leadership team of Hindu Students Council. She is passionate about teaching math to school-age children both in US and India. Next one is moderator is Mahita Appasani, is a computer engineering student at Northeastern University. She completed her first co-op at Wayfair and will do her second in it this spring. She is fluent in both Telugu and English. Our next moderator is Apish Kumari, is a senior at the University of studying computer science, and he is passionate about healthcare, technology, and startups. He can speak both Telugu and English and loves the Telugu movies. And mic over to the Murali Garu.
Namaskaram. అంటే మురళీకృష్ణ మేడిచెర్ల భాషారమ్యం సేవాగమ్యం అంటూ తెలుగు భాష గురించి ఎంతో కష్టపడుతున్న మా నాట్స్ సంస్థకి చేస్తున్నటువంటి ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి వచ్చిన మీ అందరికీ స్వాగతం. ఈరోజు మన చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ భాను ప్రకాష్ గురించి 2 మాటలు చెప్తాను. అంకెలతో అతను కబడ్డీ ఆడతాడు, చాంతాడంత లెక్క చెప్పినా చిటికలో చెప్పేస్తాడు. కంప్యూటర్ కంటే వేగంగా ఎంత పెద్ద లెక్కైనా క్షణాల్లో సమాధానం చెప్తాడు. అందుకే అతను అంతర్జాతీయ స్థాయిలో ప్రకాశిస్తున్నాడు, రికార్డులు సాధిస్తున్నాడు. యావత్ తెలుగు జాతికే కాదు, భారతీయులందరికీ స్ఫూర్తిగా నిలుస్తున్న ఆ అంకెల యోధుడు, సంఖ్యాశాస్త్ర ప్రవీణుడు, మన తెలుగు జాతి ముద్దు బిడ్డ, వరల్డ్ ఫాస్టెస్ట్ హ్యూమన్ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ భాను ప్రకాష్. వెల్కమ్ టు యూ. ఇప్పుడు ఈ అంకెల యోధుడే మన గణిత రహస్య శాస్త్రాలను వివరించేందుకు, లెక్కల మీద మనకున్న భయాల్ని పటాపంచలు చేసేందుకు మన ముందుకు వచ్చాడు. తెలుగువారి కోసం అనేక కార్యక్రమాలు చేపట్టే ఉత్తర అమెరికా తెలుగు సంఘం నాట్స్ ఈ గణిత యోధుడిని మీ అందరికీ వెబినార్ ద్వారా అనుసంధానం చేస్తోంది. స్వాగతం, సుస్వాగతం. ఒకసారి మీ పరిచయంతో ఈ కార్యక్రమం ప్రారంభిద్దాం. భాను, కెన్ యు హియర్ మీ?
నమస్కారం మురళి గారు, గంగాధర్ గారు, శేఖర్ గారు, శ్రీధర్ గారు, నమస్కారం. And also hello to the other people who have joined in to the panel where we will be taking things up. So so it's good to be here on this platform to talk about the Olympic win. I mean, I hold 4 world records and 50 Limca records for being the fastest human calculator in the world. And ante it's about nenu oka calculator kanna quick ga calculate chesi unna world records of existent people like Shakuntala Devi, Scott Flansburgh, ilanti ganitha medavalandarvi calculations low arithmetic lo villa records break cheyadam anedi jarigindi. So I've represented India in the mental calculation world championship, Mind Sports Olympics lo, and I've brought home the first gold medal at this sport, which is mental calculation. Other than that, I'll give myself a quick brief introduction. నేను నా గురించి కొంచెం మాట్లాడుకుంటాను. Then I think we can move into however the program is planned. I'm 20. I've finished my graduation in pure mathematics. Now I work a lot in theoretical mathematical research also, but ఈ calculations ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో have sort of created how I look at the world around me. When I was 5 years old, నాకు 5 ఏళ్ళు ఉన్నప్పుడు I met with an accident which made me bedridden for an entire year. And ఈ టైంలో I picked up puzzles and a lot of other interesting mathematical what do we say, challenges and paradoxes which made me see అంటే నాకు ఈ calculations కానీ numbers అంటే ఇష్టమో, దీన్ని something which I want to pursue. So progressively, I mean across the next 15 years of my journey from the age of 5, ఒక్కొక్క మెట్టును ఎత్తుకుంటూ, I'm from Hyderabad, ఇక్కడ నుంచి, and I've progressed by starting off by going to regional championships and doing calculations. ఎందుకంటే for me, calculations gave me the adrenaline rush which hiking or adventure gives me otherwise today. So for me it was a sport. అంటే ఇదేదో, it is not an academic angle which say that acha this guy actually is someone who reads mathematical books all the while, which is something which I eventually ended up doing, but appudu it started off as something which I was genuinely interested in. And coming from a Telugu background and from India, to take this up and venture into it as a sport was a very hard thing, because not a lot of people know, and a lot of people even then today right now ippudu kuda ఆలోచిస్తూ ఉండొచ్చు, అసలు క్యాల్కులేషన్స్ చేస్తే ఏంటి వచ్చేది మనకి, అంటే వాట్ ఇస్ ద పాయింట్, వీ హ్యావ్ అ క్యాల్కులేటర్, ఆల్ ఆఫ్ us do, right? మన దగ్గర క్యాల్కులేటర్ ఉంటుంది, ఫోన్ లోనే ఉంటుంది, which can do calculations. What's the point? So my single counter question to the people who actually think so was something which I determined. ఏంటంటే ఒక రోజు నేనైతే వరల్డ్ రికార్డ్ బ్రేక్ చేసిన తర్వాత I had this existential crisis which said, okay, no, you're the international champion, you have world records, but what does this physically mean to anyone? So at that time is when I realized that what I did was a sport, and the exercise was such, it's a way you train your brain, which can eventually help you in a lot of other things. So if Usain Bolt gives a 100-meter run, he goes for a run, ante he goes for a sprint kada, oka 100 meterlu పరిగెట్టాడంటే Usain Bolt వెళ్ళి, ఎందుకు పరిగెట్టావు, నీ దగ్గర కార్ లేదా అని అడగం కదా, we don't do that. కార్ ఉంటే కూడా పరిగెడతారు, ఎందుకంటే that's the sport, that's something which helps you in your physical ability showcase, which will inspire a generation at the end of the day. So I picked that up. And even for that matter, another example is if you sing a song, you'll not be like, acha, this song is Spotify lo undi kada nuvandu barle padutunnavu ananam kada. We don't say that. We don't look at math to be an art form or a sport, and that's something which I said I will change. So from the age of 17 till 20, I worked on a startup. I still am working on a startup called Exploring Infinities, which works on using arithmetic. Arithmetic is a way to revolutionize the way you look at numbers. And numbers and for people who are here from mathematical audiences, meer anukochu calculations okate kaadu kada. There are lots more beyond that. There is. I mean, if I have to put it in layman term, there is calculus, there is algebra, there is a lot of other things which are which go from there. Abstract mathematical thought, computer science at large. So all of this is true, agreed. But my walk of life was to understand how arithmetic has an impact on the way you think. And it's a matter of fact that 3 out of every 4 students across the world are math phobic. 3 out of every 4 students, that's 75%. And in a country like the US, the numbers are steeper. So, I mean, they're steeper because the first place where math phobia sort of comes is when you do your calculations. Calculations చేస్తుంటే ఇదేంటి ఇంత కష్టంగా ఉంది, ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నావో తెలీదు, ఏం చేస్తున్నావో తెలీదు, అబ్బా పోన్లే లైట్ మనకు రాదు. That's how we think, right? I mean, if it's let's say the backgrounds which we come from, we're like, this is something which I can't do. Math is something which I cannot do, and this makes multiple people across the globe take their career choices. So there are only 2 sets of people in math. People who love mathematics, like we have Siddharth Jayanti here, who's doing a PhD. There are people like me who probably want to do an entire world and life ahead in mathematics. And there's the other side which hates it absolutely. Like there are only 2 segments. There's no middle ground on this because the subject anadi ardham aithe okala untundi, ardham kakapothe ala okala untundi. And that's when my journey started off in saying that why is this true? Why is this true in a country like India? Why is this true in any country across the world? What is the cause for math phobia? And phobia, the moment I looked into it, I realized that there is so much more to be done in the education space of mathematics because everything which we fundamentally know of mathematics, etla untundante oka chinna example cheptanu. I mean, a lot of people here have done Sanskrit or English or Telugu to a large capacity, some language or the other. Since we are at the North American Telugu Society, then I'll quote a Telugu example. Okay, మనము చిన్నప్పుడు కూర్చొని తెలుగు నేర్చుకుంటున్నప్పుడు వేమన పద్యాలు చెప్పారు ఫస్ట్. తర్వాత we were told about stories. We were told about how freedom fighters were, what was the Indian national movement or whatever. When you do your Sanskrit, that's what you learn. You learn your verses first. You learn narrations, and then you eventually go into grammar. కదా, గ్రామర్ అన్న తర్వాత నేర్చుకుంటాం. అంటే నామవాచకం అంటే ఏంటి, సర్వనామం అంటే ఏంటి, ఛందస్ అంటే ఏంటి. యూ గో టు దట్ a little later. That's the beauty of a language. Kada? If Noam Chomsky, people tell you that you learn the world around you through language. But mathematics, we usually inflict the other way around. చిన్నప్పుడే పుట్టంగానే వచ్చి ఇదిగో దిస్ ఇస్ గ్రామర్, ఓకే ఇది తీసుకో, ఇది నేర్చేసుకో, గుర్తుపెట్టేసుకో. Will not tell you the application. Don't learn the way you understand the world. Just do it. So that is why people are not scared of language. People are scared of numbers. And that is something which I want to go ahead and change with Exploring Infinities, the courses which we do, and our interventions with the local Indian Telugu state governments and across the globe also. My dialogues with multiple consulates is to redefine what mathematical learning entails in pre-primary, primary children and get the real scenarios of application. I mean, something like, I mean, we were discussing right now, right? Cryptography, computer science, abstract mathematics. These are some things which you don't let a general kid ponder upon ever in their lives. All they're stuck with is why is 123 multiplied by 421 the way it is done? Why do I have to carry? What's happening? And that is bound to change. And with Exploring Infinities, we've done that with over 6 lakh kids through TV broadcasts in India, through courseware, through intervention. And we have around 500 to 600 people from the US who are actually taking up our courses at Exploring Infinities called Turn on the Computer in You and Math Wizard, which is about building general mathematical inquisitiveness. So I'll just stop here on what I do. There's a lot more, but I'll actually open it up for I think something which people want to see about how I do my calculations and then how can that probably be the starting point of bringing a revolution across the mathematical situation in pre-primary, primary schools in the US, in India, and across the globe.
Excellent, Banu. Excellent. And now Mahita will take over the session from here. Mahita?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Mahita. So
yeah, hello, Mahita.
Let's try and show some calculations so the audience can also see your talent.
Sure.
And I'm going to share my screen and show the calculator so the audience can also see it at the same time.
Absolutely.
We'll just do a few and then we can talk about.
There is some echo. Alex, please mute.
Okay.
Cool.
First, let's do 13,456.
13,146. Okay.
13,456. 13456.
Okay.
Plus 23579.
23579. Okay.
Wait. Hold on.
I think you had to like press the plus button in between.
Yeah.
34556 plus 23579. Okay. Yeah, that will be 37,035.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Let's actually make this a little tougher, right? What we'll do here is, Mahita, since you're on a calculator, right? What I'll make you do is pick any random 2-digit number, anything from 11 to 99.
Okay. 64.
Okay. What I would want you to do, Mahita, is add 64s to 64s as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a head start. So go ahead. And I'm going to do is I'm going to add 64s to 64s as quickly as I can and tell you the answers, right? Are you doing it, Mahita?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So 64, 128, 192, 256, 320, 384, 448, 522, 586. Okay, are we there? Let's actually start again. Right? You get the drill, right? Let's start again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. You're at 256. Let's continue. Continue from there. You understand the drill, right? So
Yeah.
I'll start. 64, 128, 192, 256, 320, 384, 448, 512, 576, 640, 704, 768, 832, 896, 960, 1024, 1088, 1152, 1216, 1280, 1344, 1408, 1472, 1536, 1600, 1664, 1728, 1792, 1856, 1920, 1984, 2048, 2112, 2176, 2240, 2304, 2368, 2432, 2496, 2560, 2624, 2688, 2752, 28, 1628, 80. 2944 3008 3072 3136 3200. That's 50 times. I've actually, yeah.
Wow.
My
How long is it? 14 seconds or 15 seconds?
Yeah. I'm so far behind.
Bhavana, is it a record?
Also, anyone here who thinks that I might have actually memorized this? Is there a chance? And maybe, right? Why not? So let's actually do something else, Mahita. What you can do is give me one 4-digit number. Give me a 4-digit number, which is a huge one. Right?
Yeah. 3278.
3278. Give me a 2-digit number now.
23.
Oh, no, something bigger. I mean, something which is like, let's say, yeah.
Like, 2-digit?
Yeah, a 2-digit, preferably. Yeah, we can do anything that doesn't really matter. Yeah.
87.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 87s to 3278, right? So it's an AP. I'm going on an arithmetic progression here. 3278, 3365, 3452, 3639, 3726, 3813, 3900, 3987, 4074, 4161, 4248, 4335, 4422, 4509, 4596, 4683, 4770, 4857, 4944, 5031, 5118, 5205, 5292, 5379, 5466, 55. We are, I think we're somewhere else. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, the point here is that a human brain can do calculations quicker than the speed of a calculator. And this is something which is possible by doing. In fact, I mean, I'm actually speaking a lot. Mahita, is there anything else which we're up to? We can actually do.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you the different calculations, but I think the ones that you did were much more complicated than the ones that I was even going to ask. So it's good that you showed that. But I was actually going to ask you, how do you do this mentally? Like, what's the process behind it?
So, so the concept here is that doing mathematics, as you see, and I think we have several mathematicians here on the board, we would say that the complexity of addition cannot be something which can be reduced, right? Had this been a square root question, had these been a cube root question, had this been anything else, I could have had an optimal methodology to do it. But for doing simple addition, and that's something which I do, and I've put it here in front of you, is when you have to add 87 to 87, you have to add 87 to 87. There's only one way. 87 plus 80, 167 plus 7 is 174. There's no other way you do it. Unless you do 87 plus 7 plus 80, which is still the same, right? Ideally, that here, this there. So there's no real way. The only thing is about how quickly can you think. And that's something which arithmetic can do. And that's something which I can actually, in fact, I'm not sure if I can screen share. Am I allowed to screen share on this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the lab.
You can
Okay, yeah, I'm allowed to screen share.
Yeah.
Cool. Can everyone see my screen here?
Yes.
Yeah, because I have a small. I think something which I don't usually do, but okay, since I think it'll be a good set of things to probably do here. Okay, so what I have in front of me is a screen. Can everyone see a screen? Can you give me a heads up, someone?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I have in front of me is a software which is again a regular Python built software which puts random 2-digit numbers on the screen, which I'm going to add very quickly. All right, I'm going to add them as quickly as possible, and I'm going to speak out the results. And what I think the audiences can do is just try remembering these, or probably even try writing it down, or whatever. Just you can. That's your try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add them as quickly as they come. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. 39. 100, 149, 219, 274, 370, 417, 437, 459, 547, 586. That should be a 586. I've typed that down. Yeah, that's correct. So the way in which these calculations here are done, if you see, is one number is flashed on the screen in every 250 milliseconds, which is one number, which is 4 numbers every second, right? 4 numbers every second. And actually, you're going to see the complexity of it because your brain is actually capable of adding this. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to take 7 numbers and I'm going to try adding them. 3, 2, 1, and go. 38, 135, 185, 236, 268, 302, 382.
Wow.
And this is something which is possible. It's correct. It's absolutely correct. And let me actually stop sharing the screen here. How do I stop sharing my screen here? Has it stopped sharing the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way I do this calculation is by building something called a cognitive memory. There's something called iterative memory. An iterative memory is when you have and hold short pieces of information for a brief while and you immediately leave it. So, it's not that you're remembering your phone number or something out of a telephone register. That's not the point. The point is that I just have to remember the number which I have in front of me until the next calculation comes in, and then I hold it and throw it away. So for people who actually know how computers work, this is the RAM of your computer, not your hard disk. It's the RAM of your computer where you're actually having a dynamic processing going on. To build this, arithmetic games can be of absolute importance. And once you build this is something which can help you do so many things. And in fact, just a small activity which we have done with Mahita right now is probably when any one of you, sir, if you can actually fling a 2-digit number at me, and I'm going to tell you later on why it's only a 2-digit. I can do 6-digit also, just that I don't want to be go into that trajectory at this point. But any 2-digit number which anyone wants to give, sir, Murali sir, can you give any 2-digit number from 11 to 99?
I think you're on mute.
Okay, I don't hear from him.
I think you're on mute.
93.
Yeah.
93.
All right. So what I'm going to do here, sir, is I'm going to try adding 93s to 93s and have a conversation with you while I do so. Okay? And this is the second thing which I usually go into, which talks about brain power, which does not restrict itself with arithmetic. Okay? This is something which people are capable of doing. So, sir, any one of you here who probably wants to ask me any questions out of the blue, a quick buzzer sort of a round where you just have impromptu questions which you want me to answer, can be anything. Anyone?
Sure.
while I do the calculations.
We actually have
we
have like rapid fire questions prepared, so I think it would be a good time for us to ask some of those while you do mental math as well.
Cool. All right, let's do this. All right, I'm going to start, and then I'm going to say you can go on. I'm gonna probably give you a heads up. Then you can start your questions. I'm going to answer, and I'm going to get back to my calculation. All right.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Or much better, something which will make it much more peaceful than me speaking out loud, is this. Yeah, I think I've gotten a better idea than that. So we had the software in which I did my calculation, right? Right now, I'm going to put this in front of me. I'm going to add them, and I'm going to answer your questions. Go on. You can start. I think you can start.
Okay. What is your favorite food?
Paneer 65. Hands down. Okay. Hyderabad, the best place to eat.
Cool. What is your favorite book?
I've actually finished this. I'll actually make it longer, but I've actually done it right, which is 688. But I'll actually make this a little longer than this is, okay? So that we can actually go ahead. Yeah, I think we can start off again. Go ahead.
Okay, what is your favorite book?
Depends which genre.
Non-fiction.
Non-fiction, I don't know. I'm into autobiographies a lot. So to a certain capacity, I love The Brief History of Time also. Yeah, 1118. That's absolutely the right answer. So what I'm basically doing here is when I do a calculation like this on my back end, which is, let's say I'm doing the table of 38 in my background. I'm doing 38, 76, 114, 152, 192, 190, 228, 266, 304, 342, 380, 418. And I'm doing it right now. And I'm talking to you. I'm probably going to tell you that math is fun, guys. It's crazy. It's nice. I'm at 798, 836, 874, 912, 950. And I'm keeping on doing this in my background. And I've trained myself in such a way that we are at 1064, 1102, 1140, 1178, 1216. Now, the point here is not about how good can Bhanu do this, but about the applicability of something like this in the world around us. So, regardless of where we are from, we are in environments which need multitaskers. I think I need to stop sharing my screen. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we live in environments which require us to be multitaskers, which require us to be people who can take decisions and think quickly, which is not only restricted to mathematics. So when it comes to something like Vedic mathematics or abacus, right? These are tools to help you do quicker mathematics, but not to think quicker. If I have to broadly put it this way, sir, I mean, does anyone watch sport? I mean, I'm not sure, but for people who watch sports, I watch sports a lot. In fact, there's IPL match going on right now. But in any case, for people who go sprinting, or people who go trek a mountain, it's not the same when you take a cable car, right? It's not the same. It does not give you the experience. So in a similar sense, using the methods, using Vedic math, using abacus makes you go to your destination, but that does not make you quicker at what you are or fitter at what you do, because hence I would say that calculations might not be as important. But the way I have done it and the way Exploring Infinities, my firm, teaches people across the globe is to make people understand how they can calculate quickly by developing themselves in the said cognitive parameters, which are visual sensory precision, which are cognitive abilities like long-term memory, iterative memory, reflex, being able to parallel think, and things like these, which are fun and are like your physical parameters. Like when we look at how good our physique is, we go by BMI, we go by weight, we go by fat ratio, and we go by fat percentage and stuff like this, skin fold or whatever. So in a similar sense, the way you think and the way you can do quick calculations is by these 7 cognitive parameters, and hence cognitive ability development through arithmetic is the way I promote this globally. And Exploring Infinities has been doing this with over 6 lakh children in India, and we are more than happy to actually take it across the globe and across the Telugu communities in Telugu, North America, Logani, be it across places where there's a 3-step thing. I mean, I personally believe that my performances are a hook point for kids who watch. They say, Anna, baja stunnade, baundi, I will go follow him. The next point is, how do you teach him something? How do you make them aware and make it a sport like how chess is? how there's a structural FIDE which globally people believe in, and eradicate math phobia through games and through fun learnings and experiential modules like never before. So yeah, I think I'll take over.
I think it's very interesting to see like the capacity of our brains if we like put it to the best use. And I know a lot of audience questions, they were asking like what they can do, and we have one specific question, like any tips for daily practice, like how to improve the brain and make it sharper?
Absolutely. So, okay, I personally believe that I have not practiced speed arithmetic since the last 3 years. I just do it as I go on in my life. I just do it as I pass. I just do it in every single moment I can. For instance, Murali sir has blinked 23 times in the last 1 minute. His eyes, I mean. So that's something which is probably how you keep yourself aware of your surroundings. When I'm sure like people who watch this have read about Sherlock Holmes' Mind Palace, have heard about stuff like this in wherever you've done. And these are legitimate things. So the way I think we could probably go about this is by leaning to the natural thought, which I think we had as kids. I'm sure that if you were a kid who has somewhere ever seen a night sky, I'm sure you counted your stars. And I'm sure you probably walked in your park in a very specific pattern, saying that if I'm stepping on grass, I die. Or whatever. I mean, we've all done this. It's not that we have not. And it's just that we have to keep these things going on and on. And I post a lot of these challenges and whatever I do across training people in things I go for. In fact, how do I do it? When I go past New Delhi, I was in New Delhi for 3 years. I used to go in a cab and I used to be like, okay, the game right now is prime taxi or not. So every taxi which I used to go to, I used to be like, okay, let's prime factorize this number. Okay, not a prime taxi. A prime taxi now. Not a prime taxi now. All right, and stuff like this, which I think can be ways in which your parents can do this when you were a child. When you go around and you say, okay, and in fact, this is something which we do as children. I mean, in Exploring Infinity, one of the experiments we've done is, I'm sure a lot of you people, everyone understands what area is, right? Area of a square is length into breadth, area of a rectangle is length into breadth, or whatever, I mean, all the things. But we had an experiment with kids of the age 5 who have never heard the word area, and put them in a room and said, calculate the area of this room. And the kids were like, what area? What does that mean? And they said, this is my area, you don't come here. Okay, you say that, right? Now, what is your area? You tell me, how big is it? And then we just left, okay? Then we just left to see how inquisitive thought can make people learn math. And the kids down the line, a couple of hours later, told us that their room is 23 carom boards big. Some kids told us that their room was 76 tiles big, all right? And then we put the same kids in another room. And we said, now how big is this room? And that kid, the same kid said, okay, this room is 10 beds big, because that room had a bed. It's not a living room. It had it's 10 beds big. And now we took the kids out and said, how do you compare these? And he said, and one of the kids actually said, who's 5 years old, I'm not making this up, says that I need to carry this bed into the other room. And that's better mathematical learning than what length into breadth can ever mean, because this is how units were born. And I think everyone would agree to that, because some human sometime thought about this. So the way you train your brain is to look at the world around you and try to learn math from it. And with Exploring Infinities, we're trying to do this by creating a math learning experience where there is an entity, an avatar like Farmville, if you've played and if you are from my sort of age, you've probably done that in Zynga games in the early 2000s. You would know that there is a character who goes around and does stuff, right? So we're trying to build a model which is similar, where there is an environment after environment which teaches you math and not a curriculum. And for the other people who are extremely interested in this, then maybe Nats can do this favor, sir, and probably send an email and register people onto this one gaming online platform which we have created, where kids can just come, play a game, and be better off in calculations over an hour. Just play, that's it, nothing else. Just go play and you'll be fine, you'll be better than what you were. So activities like these are what makes you bigger, so makes you better. And my Instagram, @fastesthumancalculator, pretty trivial. I mean, the most intuitive tag name there is. @fastesthumancalculator posts 1 to 2 challenges every week. which talks about how you can inculcate calculations and math into your life.
భాను గారు, మీరు ఇప్పటిదాకా అంటే ఇప్పటి పిల్లలతో ఎక్స్ప్లోరింగ్ ఇన్ఫినిటీస్ ద్వారా ఎలాంటి పజల్స్ అవి చేస్తున్నారు అవన్నీ చెప్పారు కదా. మీ చిన్నప్పుడు మీరు ఎలాంటివి చేశారు? మీకంటే ఈ త్వరిత గణితంలో ఉత్సాహం ఎలా కలిగింది? So how did you get into the whole industry of fast math?
Okay, so as I said, right, I met with an accident when I was 5. So I was a very cheerful kid. Okay, I mean, I was a very cheerful kid. Met with an accident. It was a head injury. I had 80 stitches across my head, and I was bedridden for an entire year. So each time there was something which I had to do to redirect my energies. And each time I picked up the puzzles which were once created by people like Arthur Benjamin, people like Shakuntala Devi, and a lot of other things. I think if I look at it, things like Sudoku, things like a lot of other things. But what I saw that across these puzzles, which had all the things from, let's say, language, Scrabble-oriented puzzles, all the way to number-oriented puzzles, the numbers interested me a lot. So for me, I'd say that my first experiences with things was when I started looking at things and saying that I looked at the art around me. I looked at Carnatic music. I did classical Indian for 4 years, Indian classical music, vocal. And that's when I realized that I was into numbers a lot. I mean, in fact, when I used to go to like events and stuff post, let's say I was 17 and 18, I used to tell people that I would call myself hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to call myself that the two loves of my life. One is math, and the other is finding math and other things, which I think is how I started off. And the puzzles were just a way in which I was redirected into the world and the realm of what calculations could be. And once there was going to calculations and trying to see how one can optimize the methods, and in our head, there was no going back. From there, it was just the uphill from understanding and doing a calculation like a regular addition to all the way to do a 100-digit by 100-digit multiplication in 35 minutes, which I think was one of my biggest accolades, which I think no one has ever done before, is to multiply a 100-digit number by a 100-digit number in
Okay.
Hello.
Siddhartha, did you?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think your video is back.
Okay.
So what I was saying was that itla ante oka 100-digit number ni inkoka 100-digit number to multiply cheyadam was one of my biggest tasks which I've ever done. It takes 35 minutes to do so, to get it accurately right. And from my journey from regular puzzles nunchi ekkadi varaku raadam was a huge thing, and I think my seeds were sown when I looked at how competitively looking at puzzles could change the way in which you like the subject. So yeah.
నాకు తెలిసి మీలాగా అంటే భాషలో గణితాన్ని చూడడం, సంగీతంలో గణితాన్ని చూడడం, తాళంలో గణితాన్ని చూడడం, ఇలా మంజుల్ భార్గవ పేరు విన్నారా మీరు? ప్రొఫెసర్ మంజుల్ భార్గవ ప్రిన్స్టన్ లో.
Yes, the Canadian professor. Yes,
సో నేను ప్రిన్స్టన్ లో చదివినప్పుడు ఆయనతో I did some work. ఆయన ఛందశాస్త్రం, సో ఇన్ ప్రాసడీ, లుకింగ్ అట్ బీట్స్ ఇన్ పోయట్రీ, దాంట్లో ఆయన గణితాన్ని ఆయన తాతగారి దగ్గర నుంచి నేర్చుకున్నారు. గురువులతో ఫిబొనాచి సీక్వెన్స్, పాస్కల్ ట్రయాంగిల్ డెరివేషన్స్ అండ్ సో ఫోర్త్. అండ్ ఆ సంస్కృత గ్రంథాల్లో ఆసక్తి పుట్టి దాంట్లో నుంచి ఆయన గణితంలోకి వచ్చారని ఆయన చెప్పారు. సో ఆయన అలా చెప్పారు. శ్రీనివాస రామానుజన్ ఉన్నారనుకోండి, ఆయన నేను సాధన చేసి కాదు, అంటే దైవక శక్తి వల్ల నాకు విద్య లభించిందని ఆయన అన్నారు. అలా అంటే వివిధ రకాలుగా ఉన్నారు కదా, అంటే ఈ గణితంలో చాలా బాగా చేసేవాళ్ళు. వాటిల్లో అంటే వాట్స్ యువర్ ఒపీనియన్ ఆన్ దీస్ సార్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్స్? హౌ డు యూ థింక్ యూ గాట్ యువర్ స్కిల్స్?
All right. So, I mean, all the names which you've mentioned, right? Manjul Bhargava Garu and Srinivasa Ramanujan. These people are huge inspirations because I pursue analytical number theory myself, and these people are extensively into it for a long, long time. So, I personally feel that my edge of calculations has come from the idea of optimizing it further, and I would say that my love for numbers has started off from an adversity, and for me. From there, the inspiration was to break world records, to be better and quicker than anyone else, and see if there can be certain ways in which I can change the way I do my calculations to be quicker. And that led me into exploring pure mathematics, because obviously that's the straight relation on how you can be quicker at what you do in understanding optimization and stuff like this. So I would say, for me, my ability started from an adversity. And that adversity redirected me into taking up mathematics and puzzles, and once I was into speed mathematics, there was no going back, because the amount of things which you were. In fact, there was a point of time where I did not know how I did my calculations. It's not because it was so quick. It was all in my head that I didn't know how to break it down. But after a certain while, I realized that to structurally understand this and understand the relations between cognitive psychology, arithmetic, and how you look at the world around you is my niche. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
For instance, నాలాంటి వాడికి త్వరిత గణితంలోకి ప్రవేశం కావాలనుకోండి, do you think you could teach me, or for that matter anyone else, some techniques? Not right now necessarily, but do you think it's possible for anyone to become good at this?
Absolutely. So this is as simple as a sport. And this has to fundamentally change the way the way you get here is by changing the way in which you approach a problem. And this is not by using manakedo vere methodologies vadukoni direct ga answer cheyadam kakunda manam how do we internally sort of think when we come to the answer is way more important. And in fact, with Turn on the Computer in You and Math Wizard, these are the two courses which we've set up for the ages of 6 to 10 and for the 11 onwards, which is, again, has no upper cap. We've had students across the world sort of take this up and be 3 to 4 times quicker than what they were before, without learning any strategy or any shortcut, but genuinely getting quicker at mathematics. So it's definitely possible, and you have very good examples. In fact, one of the kids I've trained is actually going for an international championship in junior speed calculation sometime later this week. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible to get where one can be, and if that is the goal, then it sure is. So I mean, my question is, how long of a time can someone give it to get as quick? And sometimes you don't have to be as quick; you just have to be quick enough to sort of get your things done and be better than what you were before. So yeah, absolutely, undoubtedly.
చాలా సార్లు నేర్చుకోవడం కంటే నేర్పడంలో ఇంకా ఆనందం ఉంటుంది. కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్ అంటే మీ స్టూడెంట్ ఇంత బాగా చేస్తున్నారంటే. నాకు ఇంకో ప్రశ్న ఏమిటంటే, మీకు గణితంలో మీకు ఇంత విద్య ఉంది, ఇంత ఆసక్తి ఉంది, కానీ అదంతా యూ కీప్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ హౌ ఇట్ కేమ్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ అడ్వర్సిటీ కదా, అంటే ఆ తలకు గాయం తగలడం, ఆ పరిస్థితిలో అంత మానసిక స్థైర్యంతో అంటే ఏమీ కోల్పోలేదు ఇప్పటి నుంచి, అంటే ఏదో గొప్పగా చేయొచ్చని మీకు ఎలా అనిపించింది? అంటే దానికి ఎవరు సహకారం ఇచ్చారు?
Majorly, it's thanks to my parents, because they had a very optimistic take on what this could mean. And by getting back from there, I realized that I mean, see, I was into such a year of such an experience, but I think I was young enough to not know the implications of it back then, to be really honest. That I mean, for me, I didn't know that this is such a big thing, and I went about whatever I loved, and I realized that, I mean, from then until today, I would say that there's several people in my journey who said that, why are you doing what you're doing? It's not like you'll become Shakuntala Devi or whatever. It's not like this is going to feed you. It's not. So, I mean, I come from a relatively middle-class family in India, and when that is the case, you obviously try exploring every single walk of life. I mean, I've given my SATs, I've given my JEE, IIT examinations, I've done everything which a regular student has to probably go through in this entire journey. And to pivot from there to making people understand what this is probably because of that experience. Because, I mean, a certain way of thinking made me what I am today. And if I can contribute this back to a large capacity, which previous human calculators did not do, then I think it's a good step towards mathematics and mathematical education at large, because I understand the implications of what a strong mathematical thought can do to the world when it goes into extensive research and when it goes to abstracted concepts. And to go there, we need to encourage more people to do so. So channeling the people into the realm of mathematical ocean by making them and showing them that the first waves which hit them are arithmetic. First lo vachi kottesi alalu bhaypettesna danni daatite lopaliki velte chaala undi nerchukodaniki. Aa nerchukodaniki elle opportunity ni ibbali annadi is the take. And I think that adversity has taught me that my parents believe that there is something more to do, and most importantly, I think it was about understanding the situation you are in and what best you could do from there.
ఈ రీసెర్చ్ గురించి చాలా మాట్లాడుతున్నారు కదా, అంటే నేను మిమ్మల్ని ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేస్తున్నానని మా రీసెర్చ్ అడ్వైజర్ తో చెప్పాను, MIT లో మా రీసెర్చ్ అడ్వైజర్ తో. అండ్ వన్ క్వశ్చన్ హీ హ్యాడ్ వాజ్, ఈ వేగంగా గణితాన్ని చేయడానికి పరిశోధనలో అంటే రీసెర్చ్ లో గణితం చేయడానికి వాటి రెండింటికి మీకు ఏమైనా సంబంధం పడుతోందా, లేకపోతే అవి రెండు వేరేగా అనిపిస్తాయా మీకు? దీంట్లో చేసిన సాధన దాంట్లో పనికి వస్తుందా?
It definitely does to a large extent. Reason is that at the end of the day, I mean, as we understand, abstract mathematics is extremely different from what calculations are about. Arithmetic and what arithmetic implications are slightly different. Although several walks of let's say mathematics, be it numerical methods, be it other ways of optimizing the way you think. In fact, to a large extent, computer system architecture, which we see about how you use the architecture which you have in a computer to come and arrive at a calculation quicker than ever. I think all of these have played a major role in me doing better and better at calculations, because I take up new methods and methodologies from the pure mathematics I learn and read. I've taken extensive inspiration from number theoretical results in the way I go about certain computations. And more importantly, doing quick arithmetic has definitely aligned me and got me a little closer to what numbers are. So, I mean, calculations are not limited to only, what do we say, the decimal system, right? The calculations can go into, let's say, me thinking and analyzing a group. It can be me trying to understand a field. It can be me going and trying to sort of look at how an analytical number theory can fare. So for me, I would say that my quickness in calculation does help me use whatever I learn in my research side to implement it better and sort of understand it in a much better way. So yeah, I mean, it does. But again, I'm still a learner there. I'm a professional in speed calculation, and I'm an inquisitive learner in the field of pure and abstract mathematics.
That's really cool. I had one final question, which is sort of a random one. నేను machine learning లో పనిచేస్తున్నాను ప్రస్తుతం. ఇంతకు ముందు థియరిటికల్ కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్ లో మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ లో చేసేవాడిని. బట్ మీ విన్యాసాలను చూసిన తర్వాత నాకు తట్టిన ఒక ప్రశ్న, మీరు కంప్యూటర్ తో స్పర్ధగా అంటే as a competition you've been fighting these computers కదా, how similar do you think ante the way you think about things and what you see in computer science, how computers work? Do you think the human brain is similar to a computer?
I think it's extensively different, and let me tell you how. Reason is that there are a certain so I mean, at the end of the day, the way computers compute and go about something is about, let's say, the amount of memory they have and the amount of computational power they have, right? Briefly, if I have to dump it down to a broad two things. So for a human brain, there are certain limitations. I mean, let's say some people are good at their memory, some people are not. Some people are good at how quickly they can use their iterative memory, some people are not. So the way I calculate is understanding where I stand here. There's obviously a lot of limitations. You cannot really, I mean, in fact, as you mentioned, right, I do work a little in machine learning myself, not something exceptional, but yeah, the concepts of around how projections can be done, how certain simulations can be done, and stuff like this. And I realized that to a large capacity, there is a lot which you can learn from a human being and how they think to eventually go and implement it in a neural net. let's say looking at organization of data in a computer, because sometimes we, I think, have a much more optimized rote rather than, let's say, certain blocks of data which just are there out of nowhere. So I think the cognitive psychology is something which I'm absolutely interested in. Hence, computational neuroscience on the other side is another entirely different ballgame. But yeah, I think there is a certain takeaway which goes from, let's say, how a human being computes, memorizes, and iterates on anything at all to sort of implement it in let's say in I would say much more customized neural nets or ML algorithms which have to be, which I think are being built. Yeah.
That was very interesting. I would love to keep continuing the conversation, but I don't want to go way off course for all the audience. ప్రేక్షకులు సంగణక శాస్త్రంలోను గణితంలోనే అంత ప్రవేశం ఉందో లేదో వాళ్ళకి. కానీ మా అక్క సుచరిత కూడా ఇక్కడ ఉంది. తను మిమ్మల్ని కొన్ని ప్రశ్నలు అడుగుదాం అనుకుంటుంది.
Okay. Yeah, so నాకు kind of మొదటి ప్రశ్న, going off something that you were talking about before, Miku, how has being bilingual kind of helped you? Because that kind of adds to that idea of being able to think in multiple different ways. And I know a lot of Nobel Prize winners, like this came out in the new Indian education draft, a lot of Nobel Prize winners talk about how thinking about science, for instance, in different ways has really helped them make advancements. So do you feel like that's had an impact on you?
Bilingualism, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, a good thought. I think something which I think I would want to probably put before joining university at St. Stephen's College in India. I did a year of computational linguistics myself, because that's a place which I was absolutely interested in, right? So social linguistics, historical linguistics, understanding how societies understand Chomsky. I mean, a lot of things, ideas there. So I personally think bilingualism changes the way you think around the world. I think that's something which people speak about all the time, watching the world through the language glass. So in this sense, I would say that a language like Telugu and English and something like Hindi, where the fundamental understanding of word orders are different, right? I mean, about how SOV, SVO. I mean, for people who are listening to this, there is a free word order in English. Like I can say, I am at NATS program right now. But in Telugu, when you say nenu NATS program lo unnanu, NATS program lo nenu unnanu nenu NATS program lo, all of them mean the same. So it's about how you can use the words in any order in places like these, and how, let's say, and that's possible only because we sort of put the verb with the let's say the word itself. So idi avadam valla the way we think definitely changes. The reason is that when you're thinking out loud in English, I personally think that you're linearly constrained. The reason is that you already have a linear train of thought. And for people who don't Sanskrit, all the more merrier than what anything would probably be, because you also start, I mean, in fact, this is something which I personally use as a very good example, is that oka chala chinna study ayindi Norway lo in linguistics, where there were Norwegian kids who were doing their home language. I mean, sorry for my ignorance. I don't really recall what's called. I'm not sure if it's Norwegian, but the language which they were learning. So there was a set of kids in the same school. One was learning English, and the other were learning this language, right? So they were living in the same place. So by the end of the age of 6 years, these kids could identify 3 different kinds of snowflakes, while these people could only identify one kind of snowflake, because this language just had one name for it, and this language had 3 names for 3 different categories of what these snowflakes are. So I think definitely the language which you learn definitely phrases the way in which you look, and bilingualism means that you have multiple perspectives, a 2-dimensional viewpoint. And yeah, definitely for me, bilingualism, in a similar sense, mathematics, understanding mathematics and understanding calculations from multiple perspectives makes you look at the world entirely different, just like how bilingualism does. So yeah, I think that would be my answer. I'm not sure if I answered it.
That was amazing. Yes, that was great. దాంట్లోనే కొంచెం మారి కొంచెం పివట్ అయ్యి ఇంకొక ప్రశ్న. సో నా ఇంట్రోలో చెప్పారు నాకు ఇండియాలో యుఎస్ లో మ్యాథ్ నేర్పించడం చాలా ఇష్టం అని. అది it's an inherited trait. My whole family enjoys it. So I spent a summer teaching kids in Andhra Pradesh, both in government and private schools, math. And one thing I noticed that was lacking, and because you said you were interested in teaching children, I wanted to see what you thought of this. They didn't just memorize multiplication tables. They memorized the reason why multiplication works the way it does. Like they don't just memorize the arithmetic, they memorize the reasoning behind it as well. And the reason for them was they were taught in English and they didn't understand that. So
absolutely, I think that's a great thing to see, because I mean, I personally have worked with over 150 government schools myself, like at individual or let's say the capacity of the organization, and we believe that language-oriented learning is a key point of eradicating math phobia, and that's exceptionally true. Reason being, something which you told me, right? Multiplication is repetitive addition, is not the idea which they have intrinsically ingrained in them. This is true. This is absolutely true. So yeah, I mean, in fact, when we do our programs across Andhra, Telangana, what we try to do is we have bilingual studies. The same class happens in English. The same class happens in English and Telugu and Hindi also in a few places. And we believe that trying to teach them the nuances of what this is. In fact, even the lockdown program, which we have had very recently, is called the Project Math in Lockdown, where we created 700 hours of learning for kids. We've made sure that we sort of recorded every session in all the 3 languages or 4 languages of what people are looking forward to in India: English, Hindi, Telugu, and Urdu. And have been circulating it across. We have been streaming it on live TV, and it's phenomenal how a language-oriented learning can change the way in which they understand, because they just memorize definitions and memorize the way things work also, not only about the way things are. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think like that goes off something you said earlier, I think, that I thought you put really well. We use language to explore the world. We learn the world through language. And these kids have 2 levels of barriers now. They are forced to learn English grammar first, and they're forced to learn math grammar first in English. So I think it's great that you are doing that work with the language-based learning. A question we had from the audience was, if people here want to go back to their community in India and do something for their village or their community in teaching math, where would you suggest they start?
Oh, so one straightaway thing is that Exploring Infinities as an individual organization has been across every single district in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So if you're from the US and probably are thinking about your village here, that's probably where we've already been to a certain capacity or the other, right? How can you help is one, definitely monetarily. Reason is that such an organization, we have a for-profit wing, obviously. We work on several things ourselves, but our majority of CSR work happens through fundraisers, through crowd fundraisers, which people sort of give back to and suggest on where we go next. And probably the other thing is to have a couple of people back from your village volunteer with us, because at the end of the day, it's one thing to create content, but it's about the other thing to actually have a responsible citizen, who is in the village, who knows that such a program can be promoted and taken across. So I think my thing would be 2 broad things: connecting your village to us, and the other is doing your bit in sort of taking this ahead by pumping in more fuel so that such a thing can go on. Because at the end of the day, while I believe that the education reform has to come from the government and things like these, I mean, these are all good things to believe in and talk about, but the reforms don't happen there. Reason being that it's rigid, be it India or be it the United States at this point of time. It's rigid, and we have to it's on the enterprises and individuals to sort of take this there. And in fact, another set of things which we are doing is Exploring Infinities with its sort of centers and sort of programs are trying to progressively go a little more deeper into the US market, because we see more than 30% of the people who consume our courses, which are paid and in their sense, actually are from the US, because they are just happy on going back to the indigenous knowledge and saying that, okay, I think I would be comfortable to learn from, let's say, people around there who are actually having a much better way of understanding things than the way in which they're being taught in their own school. So yeah, to a large extent, I think those are the two ways to contribute.
I have a two-part question, Bhanu Garu, whenever you get a chance. After the Siddharth, go ahead, please.
Just to chime in quickly, Ante, you talked about two things.
I can't hear you. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh, I think there's...
Hello?
We're disconnected.
I was briefly disconnected. I'm sure he'll be back soon.
Yeah, I had a question because he was just talking about education in mother tongue.
I have it.
Yeah,
good.
Bhanu Garu, are you back online?
Yes.
Awesome. మీరు ఇప్పుడే మాతృభాషలో నేర్చుకోవడం గురించి and government the impact that government has on education just because of its large purview. వాటి గురించి మాట్లాడారు కదా అంటే I feel like in India right now with the national education policy just out and it having very strongly saying that we should be teaching children in their mother tongue all subjects until grade 5, grade 8.
Yeah.
This seems to be a big opportunity. So at Exploring Infinities or you personally, how do you think we can spread awareness of like what is being said or how to take things forward from here?
Sure. So I'll tell you what I'm doing is now, right? So Vision Math is a global movement which I've called out for, which says that math being fun, math being something which is accessible to everyone is important, irrespective of your location, your socio-economic status, your gender, and stuff like this, because social aspects are a lot more in depth with this, or your economic and family background. So to look at this, I personally believe that our work is in tandem with how the Indian education system is pivoting slowly. And we believe that this reform is not only something which is to be looked at in India, but also across the globe. So again, it might be a little far-stretched, but I believe that a global movement on the lines of how Greta Thunberg's climate change, on mathphobia eradication, I think that glamour and that sort of a coverage is what I look for. And having people like BBC, people like CNN, in fact, I think a couple of weeks down the line, you'll see CNN, The Great Big Stories, posting a documentary on me. We are under, which exclusively talks about the Vision Math movement and set by History TV. So the awareness has to be created around, and let's say in India right now, I've gotten traction. It's very evident. I mean, I had my records 3 years ago, funny enough, but Bollywood made me get my fame now. So be it. So if that's the case, in India, the vice president and the president and the education ministries have reached out to certain capacity or the other, and I see that inculcating this vision math and numeracy building as one of the sustainable development goals ఏదైతే ఉందో ఒక సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ గోల్ కింద దీన్ని పెట్టితే ఎట్లాగైతే మనం లిటరసీ డెవలప్మెంట్ గురించి మాట్లాడతామో నా స్టేట్ లిటరసీ ఇంత నా స్టేట్ లో నేను ఇది నడుస్తోంది అలా కాకుండా ఒక న్యూమరసీ స్కేల్ ఆల్సో ఇఫ్ యూ కెన్ బిల్డ్ ఇన్ అండ్ get people in, then I think there's good way to go and something which the world can learn. In fact, nenu ippudu munduku velle dantlo over 30 consulates across the world have invited me to sort of go explore and do shows in their own respective countries and to propagate. I've traveled around 23 countries doing shows myself. And I believe that Ivala, the conversation should be about how math is fun, how math should be accessible, and how having math phobia is not okay. Right? How it's not okay. We normalize it. That normalization can be undone only one step at a time. And yeah, maybe looking forward to the day when every single government child in India, government school. I mean, why government school? See, India, even across the world, be it the biggest international schools which have done, the percentage is not doing any better. It's 60%, 3 out of every 5. So that's not any better than 4 out of 5. So there's a lot which has to be done. And I believe that a movement and an enterprise is the way ahead. With Exploring Infinities, we've been trying to build arithmetic games and immersive platforms and learning, which we want to tie up with this global mission rather than just be an enterprise of its own. Because in that way, then it'll become another Byju's or it'll become another conglomerate, but not something which has a vision which it carries ahead. And yeah, I mean, hopefully if things go well, we'll be around in the US very soon.
Sure. Yeah, Nancy is always ready to support you and your thought process, Bhanu. And Bhavish, another, do you have a question?
Yes, I got a quick two questions actually.
Sure.
First question is, Bhanu, give me your top 3 books which helped me to get this kind of a practice, where you are right now, to reach the 3 books for the starters.
For calculations, for numbers, for math?
Yeah. For the starter, you read a lot of books, you told me, right? And you practice too.
A lot of puzzle books, yes. So, let me think. Okay, I think the puzzle book by Shakuntala Devi, Math Puzzles, is one thing, for sure. The other books, again, are assorted and have different aspirations. So I don't really want to misguide people, but I think maybe something along the lines of the Sudoku puzzles which used to come in. I used to do a lot of Sudoku, a lot of extensive amount of Sudoku. And I think one other book which I really liked which I really adored and look up to is the commentary by Arthur Benjamin, who's from the US. He is a human calculator himself. I broke one of his records also very recent, a couple of years ago. But Arthur Benjamin's commentary is very great and gives you an insight into what numbers really mean.
Sudoku, I can understand these are all the levels from beginners to the advanced. But Math Puzzle by Shakuntala Devi and Arthur Benjamin are for beginners too, or is it for advanced people?
For me, my beginner puzzles were majorly things which I used to find on papers, on things like these. But I think the Shakuntala Devi book puzzle is something which kids can do.
Okay, and what is the non-fiction? What is your favorite book that's read so far?
Depends. If it's fiction, then it's Khalid Hosseini. All the Khalid Hosseini books, they're fantastic. If it's non-fiction, then I think I really like this book by Stephen Hawking called God Created Integers. Really good narrative around the historical way in which numbers and mathematics is panned out. Universe in a nutshell for astrophysics enthusiasts, something which I personally loved. And when it's come to human stories and people and the way people have sort of impacted the world around them, then I would say My Experiments with Truth, Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay, that's a good book actually. So this question maybe you can answer, and other the Jayanti and both Siddhartha and Suparichita, because they all are the Sucharita. I'm sorry, they all are in a multi-language. Rendu language lo kuda pattu sadincharu kabatti. You think maturity of the language, whether it's a Telugu, Sanskrit, or English, the maturity of the language would help, to understanding of the mathematics much more deeper, or for the decision making for the human being?
Okay, so I'll take the answer first. Definitely, as we mentioned, right, numbers అన్నవి ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటిని అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి చిన్నప్పుడు మనకి మన వరల్డ్ చుట్టూ అర్థం చేసుకుంటూ మనకు వచ్చిన లాంగ్వేజ్ లో సరదాగా మాట్లాడుకుంటూ నేర్చుకుంటే ఉన్న ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అన్నది we will not have the same when we sort of learn it in an alien language, in an alien narrative. Because we obviously, in that way, I would say hands down. In fact, we believe in teaching in your mother tongue as well, extensively. In fact, we've had programs in Bengali, in Tamil Nadu, in Tamil. So we believe that, language and strength on language translates into better understanding of what numbers can be if you're directed the right way. Yeah. Sure.
No, but it's listen, maturity of the language means some languages don't have a script, some languages don't have a grammar, some languages a grammar and the chandasu, malanago, Sanskrit lo chala unnai kada. That the deeper the language meaning.
Sorry. Yes. I think I've actually not gone to the point. So yes, I personally believe that free word orders free word order languages give you much more understanding of it gives you a better edge to understanding things. And one of the most free word order language which we have in the Dravidian Indian set is Telugu. And so Telugu is one such language, Sanskrit is another, which can actually help you extensively in understanding logically on how things pan out and probably how things can go. I think the others can comment on it accordingly.
What do you think, Siddhartha?
Yeah, I think certainly the interconnection between language and mathematics and computer science for me has been a huge thing. నేను మొదట్లో చిన్నప్పుడు నాకు భాషలో కంటే గణితంలో చాలా ఉత్సాహం ఉండేది. And then through that, actually, Sanskritam grammar, the Ashtadhyayi the work called Ashtadhyayi by Panini, which is on Sanskritam grammar, and it takes a completely computational perspective. I'd like to talk about it in some detail at some other time, not now. But the mathematics that you see in grammar in Sanskritam and Telugu, and the mathematics that you see in Chandas in poetry in Telugu and Sanskritam. And in Telugu, there's also this work called Raghava Pandaviyam, which is one poem of around 50 pages that has two meanings. If you read it the same way, it has two different meanings depending on Sandhunni Samasarni ala Artham chestuntam dani batti Ramayanaartham Bharatartham ila rendu arthalto vachedata 500 ఏళ్ల క్రితం పింగళ సూరన్న గారు రాశారు. So I think this mixing between language and math, and in the US we often have this notion that if you're a math person then you're like a nerd or something, and you're away from society and language and like fun things. But I think for me, language has made a bridge between lots of fun and cool things and mathematics.
Very good, very good. Sucharita, do you have any opinion on that one?
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with what both of them said before me. So, Okati, when you know multiple languages, you do have multiple ways that you think. And I think in mathematics especially, that flexibility, not just in terms of opening up your mind, but even in just having the flexibility of thought when you get to the higher levels of mathematics, it helps to have that ability to think in very different ways. And also, I think it's very important, as we've been hearing from Bhanugara this entire time, like I think it's very important that you see mathematics in everything around you. It's a very intrinsic part of what makes the world so beautiful, just like color aesthetic or something else. The mathematical aesthetic is part of what makes the world beautiful. And I think a lot of Indian languages really bring that into how the language was constructed and how the language grew. It had a very strong mathematical foundation. You can see that beauty very clearly. You can see it in language, you can see it in music. So I think it's very important to kind of not close off math as one of your 7 subjects, but bring it into everything.
And I think, sir, adding on to that, I'll probably say that Chinnapillalu put in tarvata, there are 2 things which they intrinsically have. One is language, which is linguistic ability, and the other is numerical ability, which is numeracy. So ఒక చిన్న పిల్లాడిని తీసుకుని వచ్చి ఒక రూమ్ లో కార్నర్ లో 5 చాక్లెట్లు పెట్టి ఇంకొక కార్నర్ లో 10 చాక్లెట్లు పెట్టారంటే ఎటెళ్తాడు? ద కిడ్ గోస్ టు ద 10 chocolates, right? Even if he's 1 year old.
Yes.
Does the kid understand that 10 is greater than 5? Not exactly, not in the same sense, but they understand quantity, right? So in a similar sense, in one of the experiments we have done ikkada India lo, we've seen that oka screen lo oka corner, ee corner lo oka 50 dots, ఈ కార్నర్ లో 51 డాట్స్, ఇది రెడ్ కలర్, ఇది yellow కలర్ డాట్స్ చూపించి ఏవి ఎక్కువ ఉన్నాయని అడిగాం అనమాట. అన్ని 50 కదా, 50 ఇక్కడ 51 ఇక్కడ అంటే చెప్పలేము. If we see for 3 seconds we can't. Kids actually fare better than adults. It's an observation we have. It's an observation. Kids fare better in approximating than you do, and I do, because we understand discrete counting much. We try counting, we don't approximate. So I'll finish this up, and I'll probably say that the interrelation of maths, language, and numbers is something which is extensive, and to look at everything around you in maths just sort of makes it a walk of life rather than a subject itself.
Yeah. Okay. One quick arithmetic question. The last for the show so far is showing so good. I just quickly ask you one question. Like 97 times. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm sure, sir. Go ahead.
97 times 372,755 divided by 74,750 plus 115.
600.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
That was awesome.
Murali, can you repeat the question? Can you repeat
Okay.
Can you repeat the question? Yeah.
Let me ask him another question. Okay. 48 times Our audience also can record this. 48 times 2009. Sorry, my bad. 48 times 209,744 divided by 52,436.
52,436. Okay.
52,436 plus 398.
Oh, 398, 590.
Right.
We're checking it right now.
Okay. You want to try one more?
Yeah. మల్లి గారు యాక్చువల్ గా మీ భాను చెప్పే ఫాస్ట్నెస్ కి మీ క్వశ్చన్ మీరు చాలా స్లోగా చెప్పాల్సిందే. భాను వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారా ఇమ్మీడియట్ గా? మీ క్వశ్చన్ చాలా స్లోగా వెళ్ళాలి.
మిగతా వాళ్ళు కూడా రాసుకోవడానికి తెలుగుగా ఇంకోటి అడుగుతాను. 96 times 779,160 divided by 97,395 plus 570.
1,338. Sir, manchiga divisible numbers ichcharu. Haiga. Bagundi. 1,238.
Very
So
good.
we
Excellent.
wanted to do one other thing. So we know you can answer math very fast, these math questions. And as Siddhartha just said, you know, there's a lot more to people that enjoy math than just math, right? So we wanted to hear about some of your other interests, some of the things that you do outside of it, with some rapid fire questions. So we already asked you before, like, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? And we'll try to answer these as fast as we can.
Hollywood Interstellar. Christopher Nolan fan club here. Yeah. All right.
Awesome movie. And then how about Telugu?
Oh, Telugu. Okay. Let's say The Leader. Long time ago. I don't watch a lot of them, but yeah, I think it's a good political reform movie.
Awesome. And then who's the smartest person you've ever met?
Smartest person I've ever met. Okay, that's tricky. Let's see. Who could that be? Okay, I met Manjul Bhargava. He's pretty good. But again, I'll actually take some name which is not mathematical. Reason being, okay. To a certain capacity, I would probably say Ram Murthy from Number Theory. Number Theory. I mean, very big guy in mathematics again. Let me think someone non-mathematical. All right. Who could it be? I mean, I'm actually out of. I have too many names. So yeah, I have too many names. I always find everyone smarter around than me. That's usually how I sort of like. Yeah.
Fair. Okay, the next question is, if you could go back in time, where would you go?
Prehistoric times, let's see, 1700s probably. No, actually let's do this. 1800s medieval France, no calculators around, flaunt your thing, make your business. Probably that's how capitalize on the couple of depressions which went on later in trades around squashes and oranges. Buy good options, own a French castle, why not? Yeah.
Very smart.
క్వశ్చన్ ఉందా?
క్వశ్చన్ ఏం లేదు. అదే అంటే మనకి కొన్ని మెసేజ్లు వస్తున్నాయి చాలా మంది నుంచి, ఎక్కువ మంది ఫ్యామిలీస్ కిడ్స్ వాచ్ చేస్తున్నారు. సో దే వాంట్ టు హ్యావ్ these fun exercises. They want to see the fun exercises live.
Okay, very good. So one more question then. That is okay with everyone. Okay, Bhanu?
Okay.
One more question I'm going to ask about, again, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. Okay?
Okay, sorry, Chappandi. Again. Yes, sir.
54,000, 340,000. 54 times 340,648 divided by 42,581 plus 657.
1089.
Correct.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, let's probably even pick something like this, sir. I mean, you can give me a 8-digit number if someone else can check it. Probably the biggest number which fits on your calculator. Anything. I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
Some people have an 8, some people have a 10, some people have a 12. Yeah, so just give me the biggest. I mean, probably give me an 8-digit number. Really easier. Yeah.
Okay.
Siddharth, can you check it?
147,852 times.
Okay, no, give me another 2 digits. 147,852 and
147,852 and 7,
No,
8,
I'm not multiplying them, sir. You give me another two numbers. Give me 1,
7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, I mean, do you want me to? Okay, I'll do something better than that, sir. Okay, this is cool. This is something which I think we have done previously. What we'll do is give me another two numbers, the same number, 147,852,67 or something like that. 147,852 and something else.
And then 936,258.
Okay, I'm gonna 936,258. Okay, the adding as of now is 1,084,110. Give me a single digit number. Give me any single digit number. 5. If you multiply the answer you've gotten, it's 4,829,142. Give me another single digit number.
8.
Multiplying them would be 37,598,172. Give me another single digit number.
7.
Multiplied by 7. That should be 262,300,092. Now give me a two-digit number. I'm going to divide the entire number with that.
22.
Yeah, give me a first number.
22.
22. Now this is going to take some time. It's going to be 12,063,862.9.
Wow.
Where is the time? You said it's going to take some time.
That's his fastness.
So I have one question. So you can see that you're doing these calculations. Are you able to do like other types of math, like algebra, trigonometry, like things like that, with the same like mental speed kind of thing?
So again, depends, right? If it's a problem, yes. If it's a proof, no, because things work differently in different sets, right? So if it's a problem, definitely yes. In fact, I do addition in hexadecimal as well. I do addition in binary. I do additions and operations over a group, over a ring, over a field. I mean, depends on what you would want me to explore. So since the methodology is not Vedic mathematics restricted to, let's say, one thing, as long as like I want to do something quick, which is, let's say, an integral where the integral and the calculation which I have to probably do is x cubed plus 3x squared by 2 from the limits 0.5 to 1.2, I'm quick at it. But to set it up until there, obviously, is of mathematical understanding, but my speed does help. So, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, maybe we can ask like one of those two, just as an example. So, are you able to do like, simplifying equations and stuff?
Simplifying is something a little different to that, because I mean, see, factorization is something entirely different, which I think I don't expertise in, obviously. Like, I mean, I will do it, but it's not going to be as quick for sure. It's going to be quicker than a lot, but it's not really. What we can definitely try out is probably, let's say, doing approximations, which I think can be something which I use by, let's say, going to the Newton-Raphson's or differential approximations. So maybe what you can do is give me a cube root of a number, and I can try approximating it by using 3-4 iterations of a numerical method in my head.
Okay.
Siddharth? Yeah, Bhavesh, either one.
Okay, so you want me to give you a number that is a cube root?
Yeah, give me a number. I'll calculate the cube root of it.
Okay. 327.
327 cube root. That should be a 6 point. Okay, that should be 6.889.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
And this is no magic. Guys. I mean, for people who actually understand mathematics, this is just, let's say, 2 steps of a Taylor series, right? The Taylor series expansion, the F double dash, and then my approximation starts with a 6, and then I go put it in there, and I'm sure. I mean, nothing very phenomenal, but it just looks like I've done some fancy math. So,
when you're doing these problems, are you visualizing what I might write down on paper in your head, or you're able to see the whole thing and it's not like fading out of your mind?
I mean, in fact, it's more like, let's say, if I have to sort of like break it down, right? I mean, right now, if I have to sort of do it, see, there's certain aspects of it which are street smartness and something which people call optimization, which I personally use. This is something which I do when, let's say, someone asks me a square root of a number. Let's say, sir, pick up a 4-digit number, square it, give me the answer. I'm going to tell you the square root, and I'm also going to tell you how I do this. All right. So take a 4-digit number, square it.
Tell, Siddhant. Ask.
2,735.
Oh no, I'm actually telling you to give me the square.
Oh, okay, I'll give you one. 186-71041.
186-71041. Let me come to the answer first, and then I will. The answer is 4321. Okay,
right.
I see how you picked it. But let me break it down for you, right? The four numbers. The first four numbers, if I recall it right, your question was 18,671,041, right? That's in my head, right? Now the first 4 digits is 1867. Okay, 1867. The nearest square, which I do know of, is 1849. And how do I know it? Is because it's 4 and it's less than 45, greater than 40. So I will triangulate it, and my next approximation will be 42. I've come to 43, 1849. The residue is 18. So it's 181041 divided by 2 root x. If I actually divide it by 2 into 43, which is 860, I will get an approximation of 21, which is 4321. I mean, I'll get a 4320 point something, but that'll go to 4321 because it ends with a 1. So it's obviously greater than that. So here what I did is not only my calculation, but about a little bit of good mathematical thought which goes in. But at the end of the day, it's so quick that it looks like I've done something. Like I can claim anything I want. In fact, that's one good thing about doing quick calculations. You can claim anything you want, and then you can just chew it. And I'll show you that. One of the examples is one of the claims which I used to do when I was a kid was that I memorized the entire calendar. Everyone knows the calendar calculation algorithm. It's something which is very trivial. We know it. But I'm going to do it so quickly that you're going to see that it looks that I've brought it out of my memory. So, sir, anyone here who remembers the date on which you were born? Like the day, like Sunday, Monday. Don't tell me that. Yes, sir.
Ask the same thing. Actually, for the future calendar, can you go to the 2025 calendar and what is June 3rd weekday?
Oh, no. So, sir, give me the date. I'll tell you which day. I mean, you tell me which. 2025?
2025.
Yeah.
June 3rd.
June 3rd. That should be a Tuesday.
How did you do that?
Yeah, that's my birthday. Thank you.
Like, what's the thought process behind that?
The logic is simple, right? When you go with the 365 back, I mean, the math is pretty simple, right? Calendar function is a modulo 7. So 365 is just a 1 for me. 366 is a 2 for me, right? For every 4 years of increment, there's 5 increments in something. So for every 35 years, there's nothing at all. So I mean, I can tweak around with it and play. So for me, it's just that understanding which will let me go wherever I want. So as long as it's Gregorian calendar and not like the Julian calendar, anywhere is possible. It's not a big deal, and it's so quick that it actually looks like I've sort of done it across and probably brought it out of memory. So
very good. Thank you very much, Bhanu, for all your time. I think.
I have a question.
Sure, ask me. Yeah, sure.
You have attended school, maybe elementary school in Hyderabad, right? So when you went to school, you know how they were teaching in school in Hyderabad, in India, basically. So you may have some idea of globally how kids are taught in schools. And you have an organization exploring infinity. You are trying to help kids in your own way, and you have developed some skills, like you developed it, you have some God's gift, and you developed it, you practiced, and you figured out how to do it better and mastering every day. So what do you think about the fundamentals of schooling, how kids needs to be taught so they can be, what you are trying to accomplish through your infinity exploring it?
Sure, sir. So let me put things into perspective, right? My calculations and things which I do at the space is something which not a lot of people need, right? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we want to be good at calculations. We don't have to be exceptionally well at them. But when I say that I've been to schools across the world, in fact, 22 countries across, and I've been to places and see how math is taught, I personally believe that my global vision, which is vision math, is about not only bringing a change around with teaching people, but also about bringing change around how mathematical education for kids is defined as, what sort of things are taught, and how can these things be related to something which can translate into your professional expertise. And that's a place where Exploring Infinities ourselves have been working with B2B, right? When I say it's not only like, let's say, with the consumer, but also like with the business itself. So with the school itself, directly to the school, where we set up mathematical labs, where we set up experience programs, where the kids actually have the experience of sort of having a fun way of learning this. And I personally believe that promoting speed calculation and mental calculation as a way, as one of the subsections of how you promote chess globally, how you promote several other mental games, can be a very good step. And that's something which I push for with let's say, a global vision, which is to a 3-phase process, right? That's how things change. 1, get the conversation around mathematics. Do global shows, do shows across schools across the world, the US, tour, make people understand that math is important and fun at the same time. Step 1. The step 2 is interact and talk to them and make kids experience the joy of learning math this way. Because it's not only about the show. The show is okay. What Bhanu does is fine, great. But what can you learn from it? How can you do it is much more important than that. What you take away. And the third point is how you conglomerate and get all these learnings together and say that the fundamental definitions and objectives of math education in primary, pre-primary, and high school have to change from being a subject which will help you in science and technology to a subject in which you learn the world around you. And that's going to happen. In India, they're doing this by partnering with Adani Foundation, which is one of the biggest groups in India, the Adani Foundation. Right. Globally, we're trying to take this as a national mission, package it in such a way that the consulates push this and say that these are the set of programs which we will do in your country from the side of India. And yeah, I think that's the only way to go, is regardless of how much ever education programs you put out there, the awareness, the change of narratives, and the introduction and involvement of more stakeholders is the way ahead.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
So we have...
Someday down the line, I'll probably be in the US doing a set of shows all together and hop on school after school, college after college to talk and bring this into conversation.
Very good.
Yeah, we have like hundreds of questions from audience. I don't think we have time to address any of those. Maybe a few questions were asked here. Do you have time at later point, like to respond to it? I think they provided contact information also through.
So what you can do, sir, I mean, for anyone who's watching this who wants to sort of engage with, let's say, me at any given point of time, you can follow @FastestHumanCalculator on Instagram, right? @FastestHumanCalculator on Instagram, and Bhanu Prakash on Facebook, @FastestHumanCalculator on Instagram, and because I do a certain amount of live Q&As every week, where I interact with people and sort of try answering everyone firsthand. And there are several events which we do otherwise, where I think Nats can sort of give a shout out to the people and say that you can join in, you can sort of see what this is all about. And probably if you can visit exploringinfinities.com, expinfi.com, you will find ways of engaging and taking courseware and be a part of, let's say, the entire change and starting to learn, because I take classes myself once a week, twice a week with closed cohorts. The rest the organization does, but I have a certain set of kids I teach myself on a weekly basis, because I believe that I should not be out of the scene. So yeah, maybe Nats can send out a form where people who are interested to sort of can come engage with us in the long run.
Sure, yeah, we will definitely work with you offline. Muraligaru will be interested to work with you on how we can move forward on working with you.
In fact, I mean, if timelines go well, I see myself touring to the US for a set number of shows in at least 10 to 15 states by the end of this December, if things go like the pandemic.
Yeah, right. I hope so. Yeah.
Okay. One last math question. Can you give me square root of 46,090,500?
Just a second. I was not able to hear you. What do you want me to do? The square?
Square root of.
Okay, the square root of?
I give you a number, give me square root.
Cool, go ahead, sir. 46 million?
90,521.
90,521. Aha, that should be 6,789.
Yeah, congrats. You are not only extraordinary mathematician, you are a very good speaker too, which is a very deadly combination. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best with your future. And we would like to travel with you. And now I ask our president Anne to say a few words.
Vote of thanks. Shekhar garu, can't hear you.
Unmute.
Yeah. No, still I can't hear you, Shekhar.
Please unmute.
I think he is unmuted.
No. Something went wrong, Shekhar. ఇప్పుడు వస్తాం ఎక్కువ వస్తాం.
Sorry. Okay, thank you, Bhanu. Actually, really appreciate for taking time and giving us this tremendous, really very appreciable program. I think some of the kids who are watching already might have seen this and maybe thinking like, oh, can we do math in a different way? So that's really, impressive and encouraging to a lot of kids. Thank you again, once again. And also I would like to thank Gangadhar Garu and Murli Garu because you guys made this possible. And thank you for taking care of all the coordination and everything, Murli Garu.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank Afghani Garu also for supporting this. And as always, NATS, Nakamita Telugu, you all know, it's a non-profit organization helping Telugu community across US as well as in both two Telugu states.
Exclusively, yeah, definitely we will work with Bhanu exclusively for NATS in the future endeavors, all his plans and whatever the thought process he has. And NATS, Gangadhar, under the Gangadhar guidance, we will draft some some kind of plans and we'll take it from there.
Yeah,
thank you, for having us all on this call. And thank you, Bhanu. Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Everyone, all the kids and
all the moderators. Thanks to all the moderators.
All the moderators, yeah, Mahita, Siddharth, and Bhavish, all of you. Thank you very much.
All of
Thanks
you.
for joined in. Everyone else who's joined in. Yeah, it's been like, yeah.
All the audience, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully you stay connected on Facebook and things like that later on. Yeah. See you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.